going to study in the Tractate Bava Kamma, page 96. I want to take this opportunity to thank the family, the Gaon family, and many friends who come here at this beautiful Yishuv Tekoa that I have a lot of nostalgic history. So for those who are not so familiar with English, I try to combine some Ivrit. The subject is Shevach. Shevach meaning when we talk about Gzela and Nigzal, which means a robber or thief, there is a concept of benefit. To refresh our discussion of previous daf, when a thief or a robber stole some item, he basically acquired that. Over the period of time, when is a return of item, there is a space, there is a benefit, there is an appreciation that took place. How you treated that appreciation? Who owns that part? So here we are. We start with 95b, 15 lines from the bottom of the page. Amar Rav Ashi ki avinan bei Rav Kahana ibayalan. When I discussed this matter at the study hall of Rav Kahana, we have our question in that regard. Le Rabbi Shimon de Amar lemechza lishlish velerevia uleshakil gazlan ki mesalkinan bei bidmei mesalkinan bei. So here, according to Rabbi Shimon, there are three options: either half, 1/3, or 1/4. That's belong to one who had been stolen. According to Odilma mibsara shakil, so may he take from the animals, meaning the subsequent, the animal, for example, have a baby, right? So the result of that baby, you take, you allow the robber to take part of the value of the body in evaluation of the body of that newly baby, or he can substitute it with cash. The Kovetz Shiurim have a long discussion over this matter, how far you go with that, because physically, obviously, we cannot separate the body of the animal and the monetary value of the animal. And therefore, since there are two owners, as we said many times, Reuven stole car from Shimon, Reuven is responsible for anything that happened. So in that sense, he's the owner. He acquired the car. So if it's depreciation of or appreciation of that, that's the discussion. Here, since we talk about the subsequent, the baby that came out of the animal, therefore we take the monetary value that's equivalent to the body of the animal. That's the mahalach of the Kovetz Shiurim, the Shita Mekubetzet, and the Chazon Ish and others have all this mahalach, all this thought, just because Takanat HaShavim. Takanat HaShavim we explained in the past that people, especially now we're getting close to Rosh Hashanah, people who want to do Teshuvah, if we tell them that it's too much, the guy stole from so many resources, it's overwhelming, etc., he will back out and decide that he doesn't want to do Teshuvah because it's too much. So therefore, that's the reason why we try to be more lenient with the robber, and therefore we allow to substitute the value of that animal with cash. Upashtinan meha. דאמר רב נחמן אמר שמואל שלושה שמים להם את השבח. So Rav Nachman said, in all these cases, the rabbinic court take real appraisals, and he appraised the way, the value for the party involved, and they pay the money rather than giving a portion of the property. So according to Tosfot, the question is only according to Rabbi Shimon. Here he said, "Uma'alin ota bedamin." So we basically pay the money instead of taking the part of the property, and we said, therefore, they cannot ask to get part of the karka. In general, there is a Gemarrah in Tractate Bava Kamma. It's a long discussion in page Kuf Kavdalet 124. The whole idea of muhzak. You have the Torah. The Torah tells us in the book of Devarim, the Deuteronomy, chapter 21, verse 17, they said that when you have two children, the firstborn, the first son takes double portion from every estate of the father. Now, if there are only two brothers, you divided the estate to 3 portions, and the firstborn takes 2 parts, and the second one takes the 1/3. If there are 3, you divide it to 4 parts, and the same notion. The firstborn take 2, and then the others take what left over, the other 2 parts. So the Gemarrah in Tractate Bava Kamma, page 124, explained to us that apply only the muhzakin, meaning the estate that the father had at the time of his passing. But if there is appreciation after the father's passing, so the firstborn cannot take that appreciation, but only according to all the other brothers. So for example, let's say the father passed away and the property's value is $1 million. And then when you evaluated it later on, things turn, things change. It can be building around the area, can be other reasons. Now the estate is $1.2 million, okay? So the 200,000 you count differently. You just split it equally between the brothers. You don't treat it the way you treated when the father was alive, okay? So he said, so here, with our discussion, which is appreciation, so you hold the elu and b'chor lepashut. So here you talk about the firstborn to a son who make payment to a regular son. So the firstborn inherit a field that the double portion, as long as the father was alive. But after, as we said, after the father passed away, it's different. But when the time comes that they divided the field, the firstborn sons who received double portion, he paid the appreciation, the enhancement of the property in he can do it in the former portion, and giving money instead of giving land. ובעל חוב ללוקח, ובעל חוב ליתומים. The same way you have a creditor who collects debt from the land, so he sold to he paid the money to the purchaser for that appreciation, that enhancement, that instead of paying the land. So the same applies with the creditor and the orphan. The creditor collects the land from the orphan. He need to pay them for enhancement done by the orphan after the father's death. So he give money instead of giving the land. How do you come to the point that the creditor is giving the purchaser any of the value at all? So he said, ואמר שמואל בעל חוב גובה את השבח, אמר לי לו קשיא כאן בשבח המגיע לכתפיים, which means those produce, those fruits that you're about to cut in the field and carry כתפיים on the shoulder from the field. So it's in that sense you said that this תבואה גדלה כל צורכה. Rashi said that this crop or whatever the produce, it's already grew up enough. So in that sense you consider that as already detached from the ground. וכאן בשבח שאין מגיע לכתפיים, בוסר, which means you talk about produce that it's not ready to be cut, so therefore it's considering as part of the estate. Tosfot and Rashi have different avenues here. Tosfot try to say that תבואה שהבשילה כל צורכה, when you have this produce that it's already written, so you cannot have the creditor collected the way the Rabbeinu Tam, the Etude Tosfot said, דבר שבא לידי טרחה, so it's different. Because here he needs to take it, to carry it, so he treated differently. But פירות שלא נגמרו, if you have a produce that it's not totally ready, it's bosser, so you consider that as the same as the estate itself. So Ravina rejected it, and he said, אמר לי, והמעשים בכל יום. You see it in an everyday situation that the collector wants to collect from purchasers even the materials that they carry on their shoulders, which means that this is a common. והמגבי שמואל אפילו שבח המגיע לכתפיים. So here Shmuel hold that they need to collect even for those part of the produce that carry on the shoulder, without asking the Baalei Chov, the creditor, to pay for the expenses. So therefore he limited, and he said, Amar lei, Rav Ashi responded to Ravina, and he said, La Kashya. The two different ruling Horaot of Shmuel, talking about two different avenues. It's not difficult. Page 96, had the masik by כשיעור הרעה ושבחה, הדלא מסיק בי אלא כשיעור הרעה. Here, I just try to use a common language. The Gemarrah in Bava Kamma, which we talk many times in regard to this sugya, Bava Kamma 15, the idea, we don't want to close the door for lenders. There is an appreciation and people want to collect the difference, and here, since he collected with the estate, so the other guy is not losing anything, because if you think numbers, you have the number of the value of the estate and you have the number of the appreciation at in between. For example, the number is 100 and the shevach, the appreciation, is 20. So here we said that the one ruling applies, that the debt or the amount of the value of the land and the enhanced value. And the other one, the Shmuel said that not collect the value of that appreciation is when the case, when he owned by the debtor only the amount of the value of the land. Amar le Rabina challenged that, and he said, Anicha leman de'amar. This we fully understand if you go by the idea that the purchaser of the field has money, so he still cannot remove the creditor from the land. The creditor has the right to collect the land, so we understand it well. אלא למאן דאמר איתלי זוזילה לוקח מצה מסלק לבעל חוב, if I have money in that value, obviously you can remove the creditor from the land. The purchaser can choose to pay him money instead. Hashta havli griva, de'ar'a shiur shvichai. But here, what you see, you don't have sufficient money to pay the money that you owe, so you give at least griva. Griva is the amount of se'ah, of land, but that's basically the appreciation part. Rabashi said, Amar lei, hacha b'ma'askinan, when Rav Nachman ruled in the name of Shmuel, kegon deshavya nihala, le'aputiki, that the loveh, the one who owes the money, the debtor, put the state, the field, to designate a payment for him, and he said, "Lo yeh lecha," Amar lo yeh lecha peraon ela mizeh. So apotekei. So here is the place that you collect they did that. The Rambam, in Perush Mishnayot in Tractate Gittin, chapter 4, Mishnah 4, explained the concept of aputiki. So it means that that's clear chiyuv in case he doesn't have cash to pay it. So at least you give me a state of that a portion that value the amount that I cause hashbacha, cause appreciation, and therefore you collect it together. So in that sense, the lokeach קנה את הקרקע לגמרי, he purchased the estate in total. So אמר לי, אך המעסקינן, כגון דשווה לעלה פוטיקית, אמר לו לפירון עלה מזה. So everyone said, everyone hold that he has a lien on the field and nothing else. So after the Gemarrah in a way stopped this discussion in regards to Hashbachat Nechasim, that the estates have an appreciation. Now we go back to our concept. You have Reuven who stole something from Shimon, and after he stole it, that item have an appreciation. That item has more value at this point. So how basically, since you tell me that Reuven, the moment he hold it, he acquire it and he is the owner, so therefore what you do with this amount that it's now worth more, המראה גזל והשביח ומחר, וגזל והשביח והוריש, מה שהשביח מחר, מה שהשביח הוריש. So if Reuven stole something that has a value of 100k, and then later on he sold it for 120, so he said it's too late, meaning he needs to pay the way that it was originally when he stole 100. The same if he inherited to his children. So again, what it was originally stolen, that's something he needs to return. But the appreciation, meaning the enhancement of that estate, he doesn't, the purchaser or the orphan takes the same what the gazlan, what the robber needs to take. Obviously, we're just dealing with the basic. There is a right, but there is a lot to discuss more in this sugya. We're just dealing with basic. Bai Rabbi, Ishbiach Lokeach Mao. So Rabbi asked a question, dilemma, if the purchaser enhanced the stolen item, must the robbery victim pay the purchaser for enhanced value or not? So he said, Batar Devaya. He himself answered, Hadar Pashta, Ma machar rishon l'sheni, kol zchut shedavo liyado. What exactly the first person sold to the second one? He sold any right that he will come into his possessions. Since the robber has the right to the value of the enhancement, to the stolen item, he sold those rights to the purchaser as well. Okay? By Rava Ishbiach Oved Kochavim Mao. Here we talk about idolater. So idolater was the one who is in charge for that stolen item. How you treat it? He says, Amar leRavacha midifti leRavina. Is that a problem? He says, Takanta lovdei kochavim neku v'navid. Do we make a special rabbinic enchantment, rabbinic decree for idolater? For sure, not, because the whole purpose of teshuvah, the whole purpose of we want to leave the door open for people to do teshuvah, and we don't want to overwhelm the thief, the robber. But if it's idolater, why do we care for that? The Chazon Ish, in chapter 17, elaborates on that concept. But anyway, Amar le'lotzriach kiron zabnei Israel. He sold it to a fellow Jew. So that's a different story. So it says, Sof sof abba mechamat u'oved kochavim areu k'oved kochavim. So eventually it's the same. Idolater, it's idolater. So lotzricha kiron degazal Israel v'zabnani alei. So Reuven stole it and he sold it to idolater. V'ishbicha oved kochavim. The idolater make that stolen item better value. It makes it worth more. Okay? והדר עובד כוכבים וזבנה לישראל. And then the idolater went ahead and he sold it to another Jew, right? So now, mi amrin kevan de mi'ikar Israel, this is the quandary. You tell me one side, that since originally it was taken, when it was stolen by what? By a Jew, so therefore he has the right for all the appreciation. V'adar Israel, now back in the hand of a fellow Jew, Av de Rabbanan Takanta. So this is the reason that the rabbis make this the enchantment, this decree. Or Dilma, or the other side, perhaps you said, Kevan de'ita oved kochavim ba'emtza, because in the middle you have idolater, that he is the one who makes that item worth more. Lo avdu le Rabbanan Takanta. So the sages don't have a special enchantment for this idolater. So even the fellow Jew that purchased from that idolater, he doesn't have the right to hold the appreciation of that item. So the Torat Chaim have a basic concept of Torat HaKinyanim. What exactly makes a possession, especially when it's come to idolatry. So the Gemara left to Teiku. We said many times, Teiku meaning when the Mot HaMashiach comes. So Tishbi yetaretz kushiyot ve'iba'ayot. We believe that at the end of the days, Eliyahu Hanavi will come and give us the resolution for those questions we left unanswered. Amar Rav Papa, Haiman legazal dikla mechavrei vektalei. Here bring another scenario. He said that one who robbed another palm of a palm tree and cut it down. So after gab the shadya me'aral aradidei, even by cutting it, it removed the tree from one estate to his estate, lokane. He needs to return it to its owner, maitama. The reason is mikara dikla mikre v'ashar name dikla mikre. Originally it's called a palm tree, and now it's called just a palm. Why? Because it changed. It's detached. So here we have a big discussion among the rabbis. What exactly follow the notion of shinui? What exactly? Does that mean that the moment you cut, you change the status? Or means something else? So it's when exactly the act of possessing that item, changing the ownership. But anyway, Rav Papa continues and he said, Dikla ve'aved gubei. If it's it's called a palm tree, and now although it has been cut down, it's also called a palm tree. So the change to the item is not sufficiently significant for the robber to acquire it. So he said, or if the robber another of a palm tree and made it into a logs, lokane, he did not acquire it, mihad govede dikla mikre, since now anyway they are called palm tree logs. So some Rishonim said that that's continuation of the previous discussion, which means he cut the tree, he caused it to fall in his field, and then he cut that geza, that part of the tree, to pieces. So the Chazon Yechezkel explains what's the difference, but halachically speaking, is no difference. Anyway, Ashtam yed gubede dikla mikra v'avdinu kishure kani kishure v'avdinu kishure zutre. If he took it, the large beams, and fashioned it into a small beams, for example, people wants to make a tree, balcony, table, chairs, all kind of things they want to use the tree for other purpose. So sometimes is large beam, sometimes it's small one. But many Rishonim said that that's a new scenario. Lo kane avdinu ktsutziatya kane. So they said, but if he make it fashioned into a boards, he did not acquire them. Hamarava Haiman de Gaza Luliva Veavdinu Hotzei. if someone rob another of a palm tree and fashion it to a leaves, so you remove the leaves from the spine, so you basically acquire it. So the Kovetz Shiurim have a big malach, what exactly Shinui Hashem, if the Shinui Gamur is considering Shinui Hashem or not. Anyway, the Mikar Luliv HaMikre V'Ashtach Hutzei, Hotzei V'Avdinu Chufya. For example, he took this lulav and he make it matate, right? So Kanek, Mikar Hutzei V'Ashtach Chufya. So originally it's called leaves, right? And now it's matate, it's a stick. So here, the Torah Chaim and others explain that you have to differentiate between shinui hachozer libriyato. If you make a change that can cause that item to return to the original level or not. Remember we talk about Takanat HaShavim. Imagine someone build a building, a house, from trees that he cut. So you can't ask him to take back the tables, the chairs, the balconies, the house, and make it back a tree, or make it back, because then you close the door for Balei Tshuva, people will not do Teshuvah, right? So here the same thing. Chufya v'abed sharshuta. So if he take the leaves, and now it's called broom, so he said, lo kami. So is not acquired. My tama. The reason, the hadar satar lei v'havei chufya, that because he can go back to unravel it, so it once again be a broom. So that's called shinui, a change, hachozer libriyato, return to its original fashion. So now, since we talk about lulav getting close to Sukkot, right? So they said, by Rav Papa, someone stole lulav, nechelka hatiyomet. We said it many times when you check in a market here in Eretz Israel, right? So they're checking the lulavim. You see people standing for hours, right? And checking the lulav. So you have to be careful, because if the central twin leaf become a split, so it's considering change to which is a stolen lulav. So the question is that considering acquire? Now, Tosfot said here, מצארי בתשובת הגונים נתלה תיומת אותו היוצא העליון בראש הלולב שאינו למעלה ממנה. So again, it's a big discussion here, how far, מה הגדרת התיומת? זה מחלוקת. מארבעת המינים, כל העלים, לא כל העלים. Anyway, it's considering שינוי or not. תשמד, אמר רבי נתון, אמר רבי יהושע בן לוי, נתלה התיומת. He said that if the central twin leaf was removed, so the lulav is pasul. You cannot use it for the mitzvah lulav on the festival of Sukkot. Page 96b. There is a Tumat Adeshem try to say that that's only applied for the Yom Tov Rishon Shel Sukkot. But anyway, so you hold that the lulav has been rendered unfit to be used for the mitzvah, and the rabbi has acquired the lulav as a result of this change. It's lucky. An incomplete lulav is certainly unfit. So basically the gazlan acquired by this shinui. So Papa hold, if one will rob another of earth and fashion it to a brick, avdinu levinta, lo kane, maitama de adam mashvele afra. Again, the same story. You steal something that can return to the original shinui hachozer lebriyato. It return to its original way. So that's even akilut rabbanan. It's not a shinui. The Rashba, the malach here. עם הנבלה בתנור, עם הלבנה בתנור, כי אם זה בתנור הוא לא יכול לחזור למה שהיה. Anyway, לבנתה ועבדי אפרה קני. מה אמרת? דילמה דר בעביד ללבנתה, לבין תחרית יהיו, פנים חדשות באו לכך. Basically, it's a change that it cannot return to its original way. Because if he made out of that earth a new one, bricks, it's different. But he cannot make it the way it was original. Rav Papa Ayman gazal naska mechavri. One robbed a bar of silver. And then the Avid Zuzi, he fashioned it into coins, so he changed the status. So why? Because he make a change, is not acquire it. Lo kane, maitama. Hada Ravu Naska. Because he returned by melting it, the coins turn into a bar of silver. However, the other way, he says, Zuze v'abdinu naska kane. If the robber another of coins and fashion it into a bar of silver, so that change acquired. Maitama, hada ravilu zuze, panim chadashot ba'o lekah. So it's because it's new entity. Shchim evav dechadete. If the stolen coin were black, which means old and used, that's called matbaot yeshanot, right? That it's old and used coin. Or he's shief, he just moved it. The Rambam in Ilchot Gzeilah, chapter 2, tried to say that it doesn't have an hatacha, which means that it causes it to a total shinui gamur, total change of status. Lo kane, chad te v'avid shchime, kane, ma yamart, ha'adar v'chad te medadeh shchimayu. So again, if you see the original, so even you cannot make it like a new, but the question is if it's a shinui shelo chozer or not. Now we go to the end of the Mishnah. In general, what we said that all the robbers go by the original way of a robber. You rob 100, so you pay that. So now, soon the next Mishnah is going to speak about depreciation, right? So it means that the Mishnah in Tractate Bava Kamma, chapter 1, said that Keves changes status to be Ayil, to be a ram, after a 13 month and 1 day. So it's like it caused the change of status of its body, of the animal. Egel v'nasa shor, so it changed from a calf to be an ox in the estate of the thief. Nasa shinui beyado uknao, it changed the status. So therefore the thief acquired it. So therefore if afterward he slaughtered it and sold it, tavach u'machar, so shelo tuvach, shelo mocher, he basically does that, he doesn't need to pay 4 and 5 payment. It was a person that robbed another of a pair of oxen from his fellow. So he plowed his field with them, he sowed seed with them, and eventually returned them to the owner. So he used those animals to all of his needs, and then the he returned the oxen to its owner. So the Rav Nachman was the head of the court, so the person who was stolen came before Rav Nachman, and he sued the robber that he should pay for use of his oxen. Amalu, Rav Nachman responded to them and said, Zilu shumu shivcha de'ashbach. So go and estimate the amount by which the value of the land was in hands during the time that the pair of oxen was in the possession of the robber, and the robber must pay that amount. Amar le Rava, Torei ashbach aralo ashbach. The oxen alone enhance the value of the land, but the land is not enhanced by itself. So it means, the question is why he doesn't pay all the enhancement, all the shevach to the owner of that oxen. So, because otherwise basically the Gazlan doesn't need to pay all the shevach. Amar, Rav Nachman said, Mikra mina nishan mukulei palgaka mina. We didn't say that you need to pay all the enhancements. I said that only a half. So it means you have the evaluation of the field, and the robber needs to pay a half. So Amar le sof sof gzelau. So he said, ultimately it's a stolen item and returned as it was at the time of the robbery. פג-aaral רבינו, דתנן כל הגזלנים משלמים כשעת הגזלה, אמר לא אמין לך כי עתיב על בדיני לא תימא למידי. Did I tell you when I'm sitting in judgment, do not say anything to me. Do not question or comment upon my ruling. דאמר רבונה חברין לאיש, אנא ושבור מלכה אחי בדינה. I and Shmuel, Shvor Malka, equal in the monetary disputation. So now let me explain to you what I mean by that. Hai inash gazlana atikau. This person is it's experienced robber. So therefore I want to penalize him. So I compelled him to pay the enhancement value, although by right he is not obligated to do it. So the Ritva, you see it also in the Rif, we learn that the power of the Bezdin, that the Bezdin sometimes, the rabbinic court can put independently all kind of fine against certain people, even outside of Israel, and even dayanim that non-smuchim, when it's come to this. That show the power for the Bezdin. Now the Mishnah go the other way around. Certain type of shinuyim, certain type of changes that acquire to the robber, and others that not. Gazal be'ema ve'izkina. Someone stole an animal and it aged while it's in his possession. So aged animal, it's diminishing, is a depreciation of its value. Avadim ve'izkinu. He stole a slave and now they are old. They don't have the same capability as a young and a strong slaves. Mishalem kishat hagzela. We have to charge him according to the value of stolen item at the time of the robbery. Rabbi Meir Omer, Rabbi Meir said no. In a situation, be'avadim, situation of the slaves, Omer lo arei shelcha lefanecha. He said that the robbery victim, this is yours, is before you. So it means, I don't need to pay you anything, I just give you the way it was when it was stolen. If someone stole a coin and a crack, or produce, and unfortunately it's turned to be a rotten. So again, it was a coin and now it's crack. It was a fruits and now fruits, like you talked yesterday about the figs, it changed in a matter of hours sometimes, the moment you put it out, etc. I remember a discussion with Rabbi Vaya when it's come to Tolaim. Sometimes it's a matter of short time that changed the whole status. Anyway, here we talk about wine, that again, it was good, and then all of a sudden, it's now it's chometz, vinegar. The smell, the taste, it's not the same as it used to. So they said, Mishalem kishat hagzela. Needs to pay at the time of the robbery. מטבע ונפסל, תרומה ונטמאת, חמץ ועבר עליו הפסח. So all this is, for example, chametz, and it's now elapsed over it. So it's prohibited to derive benefit from it, as we said. That's the Mishnah in Pesachim 28. בהמה ונתאבדה בעבירה. Take an animal that someone have a relation with that animal, or use the animal to idol worshipping. So therefore it's not fitting anymore to have it as a sacrificial offering. So the Mishnah in Tmura 28 explained the difference when it's come to the בהמה ונתאבדה בעבודה עבירה או שנפסלה מעל גבי המזבח. For example, you have a mum שלא ניכר, you have a blemish that is not recognized, something around the eye, katrat, etc. But that's make it unfitting to use it for the altar. או שהייתה יוצאת להיסקל, so the animal, it's about to be stoned because it's gored and kill a person, at some point after the robbery. So therefore, the robber said to the robber's victim, אומר לו, הרי שלך לפניך. So that's הזק שלא ניכר, said to him, הרי שלך לפניך. So the Gemarrah said, אומר רב פאפא לא הזקינה ממש, אלא אפילו כחשה. Not necessarily age, but even it's a wiki, which is less significant change. It's still considering change. And the robber has acquired the animal. והענה נזקינה תני. So they said כי חשד הבח said כגון נזקינה דלא הדר בריה. That the health, the former health is not returned. For example, the Rambam said in Ilchot Gzela B'Avedah chapter 3 that it's sometimes of ill that you cannot heal it. אומר למר קשיש הבריא לרב חיסדא לרבה שיחי כאמרי וישמע לרבי יוחנן אפילו גנב טלה ונעשה עיל עגל ונעשה שור נעשה שינוי בידו וקנאו. The means they have the שינוי, it's already changed the status and is already acquired. The change occurred while the animal is in his robber's possession and he is acquired due to the change. טבח ומכר, שלא הוא טובח, שלא הוא מוכר, אמר ללאו אמין הלך, לא תחליף גבלי, ההוא משמדי כאמר. So here we learn a very important concept. First of all, the מחלוקת that Mar Shisha is the oldest son of Rav Chisda, or the son that was born when Rav Chisda was aged, which means that he was old. That's the two different. But we also learn, that's the way the Rashba brought Rabbeinu Hanan, said that all the Divrei Chazal, all the thing, the ruling, we have to be very careful to quote properly and to say it in the way that we have in the Masoret from Chazal, do from one generation to the next, but we have to be very careful, very scrupulous to say it properly.
ישנם